You got to chill because I'm strictly business. It's strictly business tonight. It's Guard Your Girl Boxing. I be that dude, Coltrane. Anybody out there? Roberto Flack.
Yeah, what up? What up? What's going on?
What's up, my dude? Oh man, it's Christmas here in Boxingville.
Yeah,
you and I was like two beat reporters in Akron, Ohio this summer waiting for LeBron's decision. I mean, that's what it felt like, man. We've been hanging on this thing, tooth and nail, and it's here, man. You were a little bit more optimistic than I was. You kind of kept my faith going. I wavered here and there, man. I'm not even going to hold the people out there, man. It was tough because, every day the shoes was dropping. Cotto dropped out of the Canelo fight, so that made it seem like Cotto was going to take on Floyd. So many different variables, man, that took place to make you waver up and down. And we was down this road before, you know what I mean? So, needless to say, though, man, after when did all this officially start? Was it right after the Algieri fight, which would have been in November?
I want to say, like, prior to the Algieri fight, there was, like, these little talks about, like, how this or that person talked to this person and what have you.
Okay.
And then it became a situation where it's like, okay, well, we've been down this road before. But then after the Algieri fight, then it became, like, I would say, like, December, it started to become, like, oh, okay, so they're talking for real. But then, it didn't – I don't think it really sunk in, honestly, till I would say probably, like, a couple of weeks ago. Where
okay.
I'm only speaking for myself, but, like, I was always optimistic because just realistically, man, like, they were out of guys to fight, both of them, respectively.
No doubt.
So it just became now like, okay, this is the ultimate opportunity for really not only for Pacquiao to take off for his biggest payday, but for Floyd as well, man. And that's how I was like, there's no way they're going to pass this up. It's just there was a lot of like a shitload of red tape to go through. And I think, they nailed it. And, I think, like I said, a couple of weeks, prior, I think a lot of us knew, like, okay, well, everything is leading in the direction, especially when they met. That in itself was an event at the Miami, or the AAA. And it became a whole ordeal for the next couple of weeks. Like, all right, well, these guys met, then the whole hotel room meeting, and then ultimately we knew it was going to happen. It was just like waiting at the ledge, and you're just kind of like, okay, Floyd, just let us know already. And then when we got the announcement, man, it was just like the reality. Even for me, man, it didn't sink into like at least like a couple of days later, because it was just like, we've been dealing with this for 5 years.
Yeah, man. And just real quick, I see we got some people out there. Got a call out there from South California. Just bear with us, my dude. I promise we'll let you chime in just a second. We just want to, get the board, everybody on. Again, this is Guard Your Girl Boxing. My man Roberto Flack is joining us. Again, as we mentioned, we've been, covering the gamut on this whole Pacquiao Mayweather thing. We'll get into the Triple G Murray fight. We'll start it off with that. Just touch upon some news that's just kind of going on in boxing. Al Heyman is like literally playing Monopoly with the sport of boxing. We'll touch upon that and do a quick roundtable of that. But this is like, I don't know, for my movie heads out there, we're like the heads of the family in Cuba, in Havana, and the Godfather too, man. We're going to, really put it down to the table and really go over this fight, kind of preview everybody, not so much prediction, just kind of think what we're going to happen. Well, sort of a prediction, but just a preview ahead, man. We've been chomping at the bit to discuss this thing, and, we've been going back and forth amongst each other, the Guard Your Girl Boxing family. I think it's like 500 text messages since then, since the fight's been announced. So we'll get a chance to hash it out, and y'all get a chance to hear us hash it out. So Look like somebody from one of the GYGB members is on the board now. Who's there? Sleep? Mike? Ride or die? I don't know what happened. They look like they clicked off. But what did you before we get into the actual the Pacquiao fight, the whole Pacquiao Mayweather, let's kind of, I know that there is other boxing that took place, much as people don't want to admit it. It was crazy because, you were such a high with that, but, you got to kind of come back down to reality and, continue to be a fan of the sport. And what got lost in all this was the domination, once again, by the Russian Mexican. What are they calling Triple G these days?
I mean, he's got a few nicknames now. I mean, the Kazakhstan Assassin. The Mexicans are really taking him in as far as the fan base, at least in Cali, because he's living in. He moved his family over to California now, so which is probably a smart move. As far as building a huge fan base over on the West Coast. So,
right.
I mean, I think Golovkin is at a point now. I think where you remember how Floyd was back in like 08, or 07, 08, where people wanted him to fight like Paul Williams and Margarito, Cotto, Mosley before Paul Mosley. I think Golovkin is at that point now where people aren't satisfied, no matter who they're going to put in front of him, with the exception of the obvious elephant in the room, but. Andre Ward, but
yeah, right. Who's fighting the 8 pounds north of where the Triple G's fighting? And no, I know. I kind of understand the parallel that you're drawing. It's just that how it is. This is a microwave society we live in. People are very impatient. They want everybody's in the now. They're in the moment. And they want to see these big fights happen. And, unfortunately, and again, I'm all with the fans. I would love to see Triple G fight Cotto next. But we all know that's not happening. Cotto is going the route of fighting more smaller guys. I call them a hybrid middleweight champion. Hybrid meaning he's a middleweight / junior middleweight. Yeah. Even if you want to throw in welterweight in there too. Because I don't foresee him fighting a Triple G because he doesn't really have to. Again, he can fight guys south of 60, get paid a lot more than he probably would for a Triple G fight. I'm not saying I agree with that. Again, I would rather see him fight Triple G. So it's like, to just get back to your point, he's in a weird situation because he's started to become, a household name, but not enough where Canelo or Cotto is going to, jump at the bit to fight, to sign up a fight for him. So he's like in a weird situation, and Ward is just so weird because Ward is not a big enough name for him either. But Ward wants a big name fight, so it's like all this different stuff that's going on that's not technically his fault. And the guys that's currently at middleweight, he's just light years better than. I mean, I just don't see anybody currently. You could talk about Peter Quillen, and I think he runs right through Peter Quillen. You and I already talked about that in the past. Quillen got his hands full with Andy Lee. That's not going to be a walk in the park for him. So, and he'll beat Andy Lee as well. So, you look around, there's some other guys out there in the middleweight division, but so I don't know. I see Corey's just joined us, man. Corey, what was your take on the Triple G fight last Saturday, and where do you think he should go from here? What should be the next move?
I thought Triple G showed a few vulnerabilities, but overall, it was good to see him go some extra rounds than we normally see him going. That was the first time he went to the 11th round, correct?
Yeah, that was his first time.
At least the first time I've seen him going to the 11th round, and it was good to see him, just go some rounds once in a while, just to see, okay, what happens when you get to the latter half of the fight? Are you the same guy we're used to seeing in the first half of the fight? Are you still going to be that same killer? And obviously he has that killer instinct, and that's one thing I think we can all be excited about, is that we know that this is one guy that's every time he steps in the ring, he's trying to get the guy out of there, and you're getting your money's worth every time you see him in the ring. Granted, I think the level of competition, hopefully from this point out, will step up. I know we got Peter Quillen out there, but I think he has a date coming up with Andy Lee.
Yeah, we just talked about that.
Yeah, so it's like, where does he go from here? Cotto, I know, is never going to take that fight.
That's a suicide.
Because Cotto really
it's a suicide.
He's a 54-pounder. That's what he really is.
I called him a hybrid. He's a middleweight hybrid of champion.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I mean, actually, who else is out there? I know you hear a lot of people screaming, oh, well, he got to move up. He got to move up. My thing is, I don't see why he need to move up. I mean, other than the fact that we want to see him fight tough competition, but that's his weight class. I never was one of them guys that thought everybody needs to move up. You know, he's really, when you really think about it, how long has he really been on the scene? You know, maybe he wants to do this Marvin Hagler thing and live there for a while. You know, even though it's contradictory considering a year and a half ago, him and his trainer, and mainly his trainer, talking about we'll fight anybody from 154 to 175. You know, and now when you say, you know, when you hear some people say, hey, you need to move up, they're like, no, we're going to stay here and really do our thing at 160. But I think there's a lot of work left at 160. You know, maybe the winner of this Quillen, Andy Lee, would be his next fight. That seems like the likely place it should go.
Well, Dox is here. Dox is willing to go down to 160 and take all of them.
What up, Doc?
You know what I'm saying? I'm willing to, you know, turn back the clock, you know, do about 4 days and get back to 160 and take all of them.
All that running in the canyons out there in the West Coast, you know. You've been shedding off some of that walk around weight, huh?
I clean the division, man. You know, I clean the division and restore order.
So let me ask you this, Doc. Let me ask you this, Doc. All seriousness, does the Cotto situation bother you at all? The fact that, you know, he picked up the middleweight belt and he seems to be only trying to fight guys south below the 60-pound limit versus fighting the guys at the actual limit?
It doesn't bother me because I think this is Big Mike.
This is Big Mike, by the way. I don't know what happened, but go ahead, Big Mike. I would love to hear your opinion.
I'm sorry. So the question was for Doc. My bad. Go ahead.
I was asking Doc. I know Doc is a purist and a historian, and I know the fact that Cotto has the lineal belt and he's fighting small. But anyway, go ahead, Big Mike.
I think GGG is a high risk, low reward. And for Cotto, what he should have took was the Canelo fight. I think that was the best fight to take for him. At 160, I don't really see Cotto really maintaining the 160 bout with some credible. But Cotto's just chasing the cash because he's trying to cash out. I mean, Cotto got a few scraps left, and you know, the high risk, low reward is just not going to play, not unless GGG just becomes a really high cash value. I think Cotto will take the fight. I don't think Cotto's afraid of him, and I definitely think it would be a good fight. I don't see Cotto winning that fight, but I just think it's just a high risk, low reward fight. For GGG, got everything to prove. Cotto right now, he's just trying to ride out in the sunset. So.
Well, the thing about the thing that bothers me is this is where substance goes out the window. And the economics really come into play. Like I just heard Big Mike say what he said, and like he said, the phrase to use here is high risk, low reward. And when you're talking about, we're not talking about one of them alphabet straps. We're not talking about BO or the IBF or the WBC or the WBA, whatever alphabet title he would have had. We're talking about the linear. We're talking about Sugar Ray Robinson, Carlos Monzon, Bernard Hopkins. You're talking about the title that you take on all comers. And when you look at the dynamic of what boxing is right now with the economics and stuff, it's become more of like you window shopping and you picking and choosing what you want to wear that day. And it's just like, you know, that's the belt where you're supposed to fight the next best guy that's available. Or you take on whoever's challenging you, you're supposed to fight that guy. That shows you Cotto has no business being up there at 160, and it shows you really the travesty that fight was when he fought Martinez for that strap. Cotto's not a true 60-pounder. Like, you know, he's recognized as the linear middleweight champ of the world, but is he really the linear middleweight champ of the world? Because he's not taking all comers. And yes, he should have took the Canelo fight. Yeah.
I mean, I definitely agree with what you said. I don't even think he weighed 160 that night.
Weighed like 165.
No, he weighed like, right.
I don't think, So I was there at Madison Square Garden, and I think his weight was like 150 something. And his ring weight, I don't think he made 160. But you're right. I think he doesn't belong there. He's not big enough, and you know, to deal with a guy like GGG, it just doesn't work for him. So
and you know,
let me say something. Let me say something. Trent.
Go ahead, Sleep. Sleep just joined us.
Yeah, I was there. I just had some technical difficulty the first time you tried.
Well, thanks for joining us, Sleep.
Yeah. Hey, I'm happy to be here.
You got a busy show, so bring it on, my brother.
I think we're being a little unfair. I mean, he hasn't chosen an opponent yet.
Listen, Uncle Sleep's home.
Listen, man, if we playing a basketball game and you twist the ankle, you got to deal with that twisted ankle. I mean, he has the belt. You know, circumstances happen. I mean, I think we have to wait and see. We kind of putting his feet to the fire on his first defense. When, I mean, everybody has a little moving around. You know, everybody's done it. So, I mean, we putting his feet to the fire. He hasn't even done anything yet. So, he's a small dude. Of course, he'll get murdered by Triple G. But I think that, you know, the jury's out. We got to see, you know, what he's going to do. But I can't sit here and say he doesn't deserve that prominent.
No, that's fine. Sleep's going diplomatic. That's cool.
Let me say.
I ain't being diplomatic. I mean, he beat the guy who had the Leonard. He had the green belt. He beat the guy. So.
Well, let me say.
Go ahead, Doc. Let Doc's retort.
Because it's not even about Cotto right now. I'm not really nitpicking and holding.
Yeah, because Cotto
holding things against Cotto. Because Cotto is a G.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, no doubt.
What I'm saying is the allure of weight hopping to try to call yourself a champ in multiple weight classes creates this conundrum that we have right now. You know what I'm saying? Like the allure of saying, okay, I'm a champion in this is my fifth title in my fifth world championship in my fifth weight class. Okay, now you're sitting here holding a strap that you can't defend because certain guys may be too big for you. Or, you know, this fight may not be the best fight for you at this juncture of your career. So what I'm saying is that's harming boxing. You know, and there is a marketing strategy attached to weight hopping and earning multiple titles across different divisions. And we're looking at it right now. Like a fight that should be made right now should be Triple G with whoever owns that strap. If that's Cotto, just like how you're saying, well, you know, if you suit up and the guy sprains his ankle, hey, you know, that's his tough luck on that. Nobody told him to tear his Achilles. Well, if Cotto has the strap and Triple G is the mandatory, I know he's going to get killed. But what I'm saying is, based on how we judge historically, how we judge champions, shouldn't Cotto be held to the same standards as all the other great champions before him and defend himself against Triple G?
Roy Jones did it. I mean, he jumped up.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, like
he jumped up into heavyweight and said peekaboo, and then ran right back down, got his behind knocked out. I mean, you know, fighters.
And so did TBE. TBE did it too.
Okay.
No.
How many people stuck at 150?
Well, listen, I think to Doc's point though, this one's a little different, and the only reason why is because Cotto's staying. Those guys did it and left. Cotto is still here. He didn't go up to 60 and then abandon ship. He's still here. Like
but
and I think but let me finish real quick. No, listen, real quick. The way this whole the conversation came about is because I called him a hybrid. And the reason why I called him a hybrid is because he's calling out guys 2 weights below, not saying that but, I mean, you normally one thing about boxing, normally where there's smoke, there's fire, and the names that we've been hearing are like Timothy Bradley, Brandon Rios, welterweights, guys that are barely welterweights at that. And I think that's the point where I think me and Doc are on the same page is where, you know, he has this particular belt. He's at 60, And the fact that he's calling out guys that are 2 weights beneath him, it's a little bit of a head scratcher, and it deserves some criticism. I think. I'm sorry.
I
don't think you get a pass on that.
Listen, the point that Doc's made, I totally agree, and I agree how it's harming the sport. But the point that I'm making, I don't think we should be putting his feet to the fire because a fight hasn't been officially made. He just got there. So,
but Sleep, would you, if he fought Bradley, would you be okay with that?
No, I mean, no, I would have an issue with that. But
you can always go to 54 and go shopping. Like, why we got to go way down to welterweight?
No, I agree. We know that the game is a mess as far as marketing value and trying.
Right.
I get all that, but I'm not going to ever sit here and say he didn't deserve the title. I mean, if he lucked up and caught a dude with a bad leg and took the strap, he took the strap. And all I was saying, I was like, I think we're being overcritical on him because nothing's really happened yet. He just got the belt. That's all I was saying. I agree with y'all, with everybody's saying, but I was just saying, pump your brakes. He just got the belt, and the fight hasn't been officially made. I know they're sniffing around on some easy walkthrough situation, but he just got there. So I just say let's not be overcritical. I think the backdrop of that is because people are kind of still salty about how he obtained the belt in our past arguments where I say he's Floyd problem.
But you know what? People are mad because this is the second time he acquired a belt with a guy with a bad leg.
Hey man,
the first guy
was the game, man.
Well, you're informant. Well, we're not gonna go there.
You can't hate on circumstance. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. We got to. I just want to. I'm gonna put this person back on hold, but we got somebody that's calling and want to chime in on the discussion. I just want to. They've been holding on, and I appreciate their patience. What I don't know their name. I just know they're calling from.
Is the guy on there that been talking slick on Instagram? That's the kid I want to talk to.
Well, I don't know. Like I don't know. Like I don't know. South California. What's up, my dude?
What's
you
up?
Still there? What's up?
I'm here.
What's up, my man? How are you? Welcome to Guard Your Girl Boxing, man. Thanks for joining us, man. You want to chime in? You got an opinion on what we've been talking about?
Yeah. Well, what do you want? You want to talk about GYGB Cotto?
Yeah. Well, we've been. How do you feel about the whole Cotto situation, calling out welterweights while he's toting around a 160-pound strap on his waist?
Well, I think someone said he's a hybrid. I think that's maybe a good analogy. You know, Cotto, I believe he started out at lightweight, did he not?
Junior welterweight, 140, yeah.
Yeah.
Or lightweight or 140. And
no, he fought 35. Cotto fought 135.
No, he did.
Junior welterweight. Yeah, no, he started lightweight.
He started lightweight?
Yeah, he started Doc? Yeah, Doc
yes,
would
know.
I mean,
somebody look it up.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, not many guys have successfully made that transition from 140 and below up to middleweight. So, you know, I think he's done well, but he's not going to be a powerful middleweight coming from 140. Even Duran, came from way below 135.
Right.
And he fought at 160, but he was never strong at 160. Well, actually, he fought when he fought Hagler. That was a 154 or 160. I believe 160.
That was 160. They fought at middleweight.
That's right. They fought at middleweight. In fact, Hagler didn't fight much below.
No, you're right. He it was very tight. Yeah, go ahead.
But he was good. He was good, but he wasn't powerful at 160. He didn't have that knockout power that he had at the lower weights. So I think Cotto's done well, but he's not. He's going to have a hard time with GYGB, a very hard time if they fight.
I think Golovkin's style in general, regardless of the fact that he's a middleweight, I mean that's one thing. But when you look at Cotto's history, as far as guys that have given him trouble, a lot of times it's pressure fighters, man. The people who push Cotto back, and when you look at a guy like him, who's a natural, a nice size middleweight, and he knows how to cut the ring off, and he has the punch that is really another thing. If you look at Cotto's history, man, he's a sucker for the uppercut, and Golovkin throws these uppercuts in a way unlike a lot of guys I see, where it's kind of like out of nowhere. Where he did it in the Murray fight, where
he's Margarito all over again.
Yeah.
it's a little bit more heat behind these punches.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. He's Margarito with power.
Yeah, and even a little faster. But I think the whole thing with Cotto was going into the fight, like even him coming up the winner, like, and I think I told you this, Train, like I never thought like he was going to defend the title. It was kind of like I forgot who said that. It was like what Roy did. He went up, beat Ruiz, but that was it, and then obviously he came down and we saw what happened. But in general, I never saw he was going to be like fighting it. Like when they were talking about him fighting Andy Lee, I'm like, I don't like that fight for him, man. And Andy Lee's not the greatest middleweight, but at the end of the day, he's a middleweight, and Cotto's barely a junior middleweight at best, So he's in a tough spot.
I think that's exactly what he is. He's a junior middleweight.
Yeah, and not even a big junior middleweight as like the guys that are like, if you want to talk about the Charlo brothers, and you talk about and
that's why, and that was my point why I was trying to make the sleep earlier is that, and again, this is more just natural abilities, him not even, having some trouble at junior middleweight. That's why I think he's calling out well, because those guys are like Andrade, the Charlo brothers. They're huge. Even Laura is kind of a big junior middleweight. He's not like
they're going to be middleweights. Like
them dudes will be middleweights tomorrow. Like they're not going to be at 54 longer once their body, because they're still like kids. Like once their bodies start filling out, like 54 is dangerous on the low. Like nobody really talks about junior middleweight, but it's like some young killers down there. So I think that's why. So it's kind of like handpicking a little bit. I think that's why he's going 2 weight classes beneath there, 1 weight class beneath 54, and calling out the welterweight. And I think that's where the criticism come in. But I don't want to spend too much time on that because we got a lot to talk about. I mean, obviously the meat and potatoes of this program tonight is we're going to do a little early preview of May 2nd. And what we're going to do we're just going to do a roundtable discussion. And my man from Cali, you're welcome to join in with us. I'm going to have everybody go around and just kind of give an opinion. If you want to retort what the person said, all I just ask is let everybody finish their statement, and then you can come in with yours. And, we're just going to talk about May 2nd. Stick to the intangibles of the fight. How do you see it playing out? Because Senior just went apeshit on Pacquiao on Fight News, So apparently to him it's not even going to be a fight. So, I just want to, get everybody. I want to take the temperature. That's what we do here on Guard Your Girl Boxing. And shout out to everybody on the board and people that's been following us. We greatly appreciate y'all's support. And I promise y'all we're going to do a video for this program. But, tonight we got a little steel cage match going on. And I'm going to start it off with my man Big Mike. Because I know, and the only reason I'm starting off with, I'm going to tell you why. I just want to give a quick backdrop on this whole thing. When we first started Guard Your Girl Boxing, I mean, pretty much all of us was against Pacquiao. I was always anti-Pacquiao, I'll admit. I'll raise my hand to that. I always picked against him. I wasn't a believer of him until he fought Cotto. Big Mike was very adamant about Pacquiao, like from the rip. He was a fan of the guys. And all those Marquez fights, even though Marquez really won, Big Mike was, he was holding the fort down for Pacquiao. He took a lot of heat. And now, he kind of like get a chance to get some sort of vindication here if Pacquiao is victorious. So I know this is a big moment for him, for all of us, but for him being a Pacquiao, a flag waver. Now I'm just messing with you, Big Mike. But why don't you go ahead and, let the people know what's going to happen on May 2nd, man?
Well, let me just state for the record, because there's a lot of misunderstanding about my position with Manny Pacquiao. First, let me just say, I'm not a fan of any particular fighter. I'm a fan of the sport. I do prefer certain fighters, and I like certain fighters for certain reasons. And one of those reasons, a lot of those reasons are, courage. I like knockouts, of course. That's part of my slogan. Big Mike likes knockouts, and I like people who would just fight anybody. And I've always liked Manny Pacquiao ever since he was way down there when he fought Barrera and those type of fights. I was always I'm pretty much of a guy who admired him. But I've been waiting for this fight for ever since he fought David Diaz. I was saying in my mind that he should fight Floyd Mayweather, and he came up. He destroyed Oscar. He destroyed Cotto. He fought Marquez 4 times. Arguably, I thought that he prevailed in the 3 of the fights, and of course, he got KO'd. And then Timothy Bradley was just a sham. But my point is, I want to get into where this argument is going, and it seemed like a lot of people, ever since this fight has got made, have basically talked about this is a non-event, and I can understand that because and the references that they pulled that Manny Pacquiao got knocked out by Marquez. I mean, well, just out of 4 fights. They fought 5 times or 4 times? 4 times, right?
4 times. Then 5th
yeah. So out of 3 fights, Marquez never knocked him down. He knocks him down twice in one fight, and eventually knocks him out. I mean, okay, all right. So if we want to really talk about that, Manny Pacquiao has built his career on fighting just about anybody that he could fight, anybody that was available. I had never seen Manny Pacquiao. I never saw Manny Pacquiao avoid or sort of avoid anybody. I mean, he's always stepped up to the punch. He's always did his thing. Of course, yeah, he got losses. He got KO'd. But one of the things that a lot of people forget, that a lot of the greats have either got knocked out or lost. And so I think in this new boxing climate, a lot of people have been tricked, because there's a lot of Jedi mind tricks going on in boxing right now, to think that if
be
you're
specific.
undefeated,
Did you talking about Floyd, Big Mike?
I'm talking.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're undefeated, then of course you have some superiority against somebody who's been either defeated or knocked out, and that's just ridiculous. And like I said, I mean, we can get into the X and the O's, but this is not. I just wanted to make that clear. I know a lot of people are making that point now that Manny Pacquiao got knocked out, and all these different things. But if you make a career of carefully and selectively picking your opponents that you match up in your mind, and then you go in and then you fight them and you defeat them and say, I'm the greatest. I just don't agree with that. And I think the career, Floyd has fought a lot of good people, but I believe of late a lot of it has been smoke and mirrors. And I just think on May 3rd, and I say May 3rd because they're going to fight past 12 o'clock.
That's a good point. I never looked at it like that. That's
I say May 3rd. I think Manny Pacquiao is going to win, and I just think for what I've seen late, I've seen Chino has really had his way with Mayweather on the first fight. The second fight, I don't know what he was doing. I guess he felt like he wanted to box with him. And he was just outclassed. And I think you got to fight him in a way that's awkward and disruptive. And I think Manny Pacquiao can do that. I think Manny Pacquiao definitely have the speed to be able to land. And I think he has those tricky punches. That's Floyd. Floyd has a very, very good craft of figuring people out. And but I don't think he avoided Manny Pacquiao for 6 years for nothing. I think he knows, and I think this fight is not about him finally, bringing the whole forces together so this fight could happen. I just think he was boxed into the corner, and I think his credibility was on the line. I just think it was a fight that he would have rather have done once Showtime gave him a renewal to his contract, and he would get another, let's say, $50-60 million a fight. But look, I think this is going to be a closer fight than a lot of people think. I do think Floyd is a very good fighter. I do admire and respect his craft, but I think this is the one fighter that has the possibility to finally give him his L, and I think we're going to see that on May 3rd. And I think the speed, I think the power, I think the awkwardness. Just the total unorthodox style that Manny Pacquiao has is going to give him some trouble. And if Floyd, if he goes into that, that shoulder roll against the rope type of thing, Manny's going to land. He's going to score. And one thing you got to see about Manny Pacquiao fights, he scores when you don't even see the score. I mean, he's fast. He's and he has a really unique style. I think that's gonna defeat Floyd Mayweather. And I just don't see that everybody sees this is going to be a mismatch. It's going to be something easier than Cotto or Maidana or something like that. I just think y'all are bugging when y'all start saying that this is a big fight for a reason, and it's not out of height. Manny destroyed a lot of people that people never gave him credit for, including people on this program have said that Manny was being destroyed by Oscar and Cotto and even Joshua Clottey. Some of y'all was even running off with that, but he just came and did his thing, and I think we want to see a good fight on May 3rd.
Doc, I know you want to retort to that. Doc, still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. The thing about, I agree with a lot of what Mike says in regards to the allure of being undefeated in the sport, right? So there's a certain mystique that Floyd has been able to cultivate for himself based on the fact that he's undefeated. He's fought all these different people, and we can get into the whole questioning of Floyd's record, and based on the quality opponents he fought, when they fought him, and who it is that he fought at that particular time, right? So we're not going to get into that because they both have holes. One of our colleagues, Brother Dies, has made it his lifelong mission of comparing opponents.
Where is he?
I don't know, but you know how he will illustrate Manny's opponents' lack of credible
weight drain.
All of that stuff. So we're not going into all of that. What I've been basing my whole prediction has been based on the styles of these fighters that we're talking about, right? We know Floyd is an exceptional defensive fighter. He's not known as somebody that will sit there in front of you and trade. That's not part of his trade at all. He will not do that. So, in the past, the people that have given Manny Pacquiao trouble have been able to punch with him. In other words, like when you look at what Marquez did to him, the person who last beat him convincingly by way of KO, it came through some personal sacrifice. Like Marquez was in the lion's den, taking some serious punishment. Had a broken nose, his jaw was all crazy when he finally caught Manny coming in with that straight right hand, right? So everybody's saying, oh, Floyd is not going to fight him like Marquez. He's not going to do this. It's going to be a snooze fest. Whatever they're saying, to me, my pick is predicated on one thing and one thing only, is the ability of each fighter being able to adjust on the spot based on what particular looks they're seeing at that time. And the thing about it is I've seen fighters adjust to Manny Pacquiao. Okay, we've seen that happen.
Good point.
I haven't seen fighters really adjust to what Floyd does. And it has nothing to do based on personal preferences of who I like, what things I like about this particular fighter, or I'm a fan of this fighter. This is just me looking at just plain cerebral aspect of the sport and looking at how I've seen Floyd been in there with some fighters that have given him trouble, and within 2 or 3 rounds he's figured it out. Like I was telling you the other day, some people just look at the punches that a fighter is throwing as opposed to looking at the footwork, looking at where the back foot is being planted after the jab is released. You know what I'm saying? Like, how he's setting up the other punches. And the one thing about Manny is that the one thing he's gotten good at might be his own detriment. He's gotten good at being a more straight-ahead puncher. His punches, to me now, are a little straighter, whereas what gave Floyd trouble in the Maidana fight was the unorthodox trajectory of those punches. Maidana had some weird angles, too. Those punches weren't coming necessarily real straight, and, they were coming from some weird little angles that Floyd didn't even know how to really dodge some of those punches. So to his own detriment, Manny has become a bit more conventional. So that in itself right there is going to be a lot easier to time. So I might say Floyd is going to walk him down and win 12 rounds to 0 on every card. No, absolutely not. He's going He's going to have some time trying to figure him out. But once he figures him out, I've seen Manny's is very one-dimensional in regards to how he fights in the ring. We know everything he does is predicated on speed and power. There's nothing else that he's going to do to me that's going to show you exceptional boxing science. You know, he's not going to make Floyd miss like Madonna made Floyd miss. That was the weirdest thing I ever seen was the way Madonna was slipping some of those punches. That's not Manny's trade. He don't do that. He's there to get hit and hit. So based on that, I just can't see Manny doing what we haven't seen anybody else do out there, which is adjust to Floyd with all the different looks that he's going to get. And the one thing I was saying about Floyd is that this guy has the ability to not have one style in the ring. We always look at the shoulder roll and how he throws those little punches from the shoulder roll, but everything is predicated on what is all based on what the other person is doing. He adjusts better than anybody has seen historically in the last 20 years, maybe even 30 years. So it's going to be real tough for Manny to do what he has to do to try to get a victory in points. Now, are you telling me he's going to get lucky and stop Floyd? That's the one thing right there that's going to probably be what I need to know now so that I can put some money down and get paid. If you tell me, Mike, that he's going to knock Floyd out and you're confident on that, I'll gladly mortgage my house and put it all on Manny right now. But I don't think that's what he's saying though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Roberto?
Yo.
Can he get lucky with a straight left hand?
It's this fight. I mean, just on the record, like I've always favored Floyd in this fight. But you know, the thing with it now, it's almost kind of we wanted to see it 5 years ago, but in a way now, to me now is a toss-up, and I mean, there's a few reasons why, but it's, we can only go back so far as to see the shape of these guys as far as where they're at. They're obviously not at their peaks anymore, and we've seen, there's the argument as far as who's plummeted, down a lot more. And obviously Pacquiao would be the one that you would obviously think because he got knocked out. But as far as their current form, it's really tough to tell, man, because Floyd, granted, still the best defensive fighter in boxing, but like even in those Maidana fights, man, it's obviously the first one was a lot rougher, and he was kind of escaping a lot more, and then the second fight it was a lot of holding, and Maidana kind of fought weird in that fight. But even just like that shot that he got hit with, when you look at how he got hit with it, he was doing the usual pull counter that he does on almost really everybody that he's fought. And it's like, for the first time, I'm seeing like, wow, like that fraction of a second means so much. And it's like people kind of look past like, oh, he got hit with a shot. But it's like he never gets hit with shots like that. And, I start to look at Pacquiao, and I'm like, well, he's still got the speed and he still can move a bit, but I think, at least for the sake of the fight, I mean, I really don't even – I'm not even going to predict the fight right now, but at least for the sake of it happening now, I think it might be a better fight than people think, man. I think for where they're at right now, I think they're due for like one great outing. They're past their peak, but they're not past the peak to the point where they got one foot in the grave, so to speak, as far as like into retirement. But it's gonna be interesting, man. I think it's gonna honestly be a better fight than most expect. Not like when people say like Floyd's gonna blow him out and pause and this whole thing, but I never thought it would be that way anyway, just because of the fact that you gotta respect the fighter Manny Pacquiao is, man. I mean, he didn't get to where he was just by it being handed to him, and Docs was saying, you can pinpoint holes in both of their resumes as far as like when they fought certain guys. It goes without saying in boxing, but for both of them right now, man, I mean, to me it's an even matchup, man. And it's like whoever wins, they should get full credit. Even beyond the fact as far as what happened to Pacquiao, whoever wins should get the full credit, regardless.
It shouldn't be couched or jaded like they're 6 years too late or was knocked out before. I agree. I think whoever wins this should definitely wear that crown, whatever it may be, but they should get their full credit. I couldn't agree.
Yeah.
I agree on that point, but you know what? I think what a lot of people what we do when we text each other, we always got to put asterisks against wins. Let's just make a pact. Whoever wins is the freaking man, and that's it. No asterisks.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm willing to go all out and say Floyd, he wins, he's the man.
Right. So the two pit bulls that be Corey and Sleep. I'm gonna put them in the yard and kind of let them go at it because, they have and I don't want anybody out there that's with animal rights group is just a figure of speech. I love animals. I'm looking at my cat Billie Holiday right now. Hey little baby. So we love animals. So, but these two here, we really have some serious debate. I mean, it's all, amongst men, and, we love each other afterwards, but we got into it over the weekend when this thing first got announced because this is serious, man. Us as boxing fans, it's almost like Democrats and Republicans when it comes to this Pacquiao and Mayweather thing. It's like, pick a side and you go all in on it. So I don't know who want to jump it off, Corey, Sleep. Man, put a show on, man. We got a crowded board.
Man, I like to punch first, man.
Go ahead, man. Get busy. I'm swinging Girl first. Boxing, by the way. Go ahead, Corey. Get it in.
No. All right, listen. I'm going to jump right in. At the end of the day, and Big Mike had touched on this as well. Both of these guys are fast. Manny, I think, is a little bit faster, number one. Number two, he's going to let his hands go. When the judges see even though Floyd's going to lay against the ropes and he's going to shot a shoulder roll and all that kind of stuff, at the end of the day, the judges are going to see one guy letting his hands go and another guy, straight right hand down the middle, to the gut here and there. He's not going to let his hands go. So right then and there, to me, that's one of the biggest factors. Who's going to be the busier fighter? And Manny is definitely going to throw multiple shots. He's not going to try to pot shot at 1 or 2 shots here and there. He's going to be throwing 3, 4, 5, 6 punch combinations, man. And some of those are going to land. Floyd is not going to deflect all of those, as we have seen when he fought Maidana. Now, I'm going to go back on the Maidana fight. When he fought Maidana, number one, we can't say Manny Pacquiao is going to stay the same because this is how he always fight. Because none of us expected Maidana to do what he did. We didn't expect Maidana to come in there with a jab. We didn't expect Maidana to make Floyd miss at times to the point where it was actually kind of embarrassing. Now, at the end of the third round in that second fight, when Maidana caught Floyd, the bell rung. We both know Maidana. All of us know Maidana got that dog in him. What would have happened if they had a minute left in that round? He was going to hold. And you know what's going to happen when he held? Kenny Billis was going to break it up. Kenny Billis was a key factor in that fight. Okay, let's move forward to the Manny Pacquiao fight.
Good point.
If the referee allows him to let him fight his fight, and not every time he get close enough and let his hand go while Floyd is laying against the rope trying to roll the shoulder roll, break it up and stop the action, then we're going to see a different fight. Let's not act like that Kenny Billis didn't play a role in that fight, because he played a major role. It was one of his worst performances.
The ref couldn't break it up if he's not clinching him. If he's just letting punches go, the ref couldn't get in the way of that.
And it was barely. I mean, listen. Rod told me. Rod's biggest thing was, Corey, go make sure you go look at the Chavez Senior versus Nell Whitaker fight. Well, I did that. One of the things that I noticed is that Chavez Senior was allowed to work, even though Pernell Whitaker was able to keep him at bay, but what was Pernell doing that we know Floyd don't do? Pernell was letting his hands go.
He let off a lot of body shots, too.
He let off a lot of shots.
He landed a lot of body shots.
Yeah,
and this is the thing I don't see Floyd doing in this fight. He didn't do it when he fought Maidana. And this is the other thing is the point towards Floyd Mayweather Sr. talking about, oh, we going to go to the body. We going to do this. We going to do that. Okay, well, where was that body shot against a guy that was shown that he could be put down with a body shot? Khan put Maidana down with a body shot when he fought. Okay, where was that body shot when Floyd, AKA the TBE, where was that body shot? You know, I hear all that rap, but where was it? See, we hear.
Well, he did catch him. He did catch him with one body shot, but Floyd pulled up. I forget what round it was, and Maidana started breathing real heavy, but Floyd never followed up with it. It was just one body shot. He thought he went. But go ahead.
And he ain't follow up because guess what? This ain't the Floyd that fought Corrales. So I think some of us are thinking, like, hey, when we look at Floyd, we thinking when he fought Corrales and he was just a master. This ain't the same Floyd. Now, don't get me wrong. This is the difference between me and Sleep right now. Sleep said Floyd is going to knock out Pacquiao. That's what Sleep said.
Excuse me. I'm going to have my... You see what you
Go! Go, Sleep. What you was rope doping. Come on, man.
I'm not. Hold on. I want to do my like everybody else. Then we can rumble in the midst of that, but I'm letting him do his.
All right, go ahead, Corey. Go ahead.
Sleep time me up. Sleep time me up. Get up.
I got a story to tell too.
Let me go, Sleep. You tie me up, man.
Listen. You mentioned my name, dude. Go ahead, Corey.
At the end of the day, all of this rap that we saw Senior speaking on FloydHype.com, at the end of the day, we didn't see that when he fought Maidana. I saw a different Floyd Mayweather. Let's not forget that. Let's make sure we put in context which fighters are we seeing in the ring, man. And at the end of the day, I will say this. Manny does have a chance to lose. This is what I was gonna say is the difference between me and Sleep. He's saying Floyd gonna win undoubtedly. It's gonna be a domination, whatever. I'm saying, yeah, I believe Manny's gonna win, but I think Floyd has an opportunity to beat him as well. I'm looking at both sides of the equation here. I know algebra.
Oh, now you're straddling the fence.
No, I ain't straddling. No.
He said he know algebra. He dropped the gem on you. Go ahead, Floyd.
Listen. I got an A in algebra, man. I got an A in algebra, so I'm subtracting from both sides here, brother. And this is what I'm saying. At the end of the day, everything that Senior said did not show when he fought Maidana twice. He had of course he's gonna do better in the second fight. He fought him the first time. Of course. If he goes in there fighting that same fight, he's gonna lose. I agree with Doc. Floyd has the opportunity. Floyd does figure you out in 2 or 3 rounds. I don't think that's gonna happen in 2 or 3 rounds with Manny Pacquiao because he's never fought an awkward fighter on the level of a Manny Pacquiao. So what's gonna happen with Floyd? What's gonna happen when Floyd get touched? All right, we don't know. What's gonna happen when he gets touched?
With power.
And I say this.
Whoa, wait a second. I just got to interject, even though I'm just the moderator here tonight. He was touched by Shane. He was touched by Zab. And he was able to figure something. And Shane arguably probably was the worst he's ever been touched. And he was somehow able to figure that out. So
I think the difference is I don't think Floyd's ever fought anyone as busy as Pacquiao. Pacquiao's going to be busy 12 rounds. If it does go 12 rounds, he's going to be busy 12 rounds.
All right, hey Train, can I
go? Go ahead, Sleep.
I think the one component that my man Corey and a couple of us is missing is that styles make fights. I'm a backtrack. Like, my stance has not changed in 6 years. I've been saying the same thing from the time that we even considered this fight happening about Floyd dominating Pacquiao. And the main reason I'm saying this is because of the size difference in this fight. Now, there's 2 things you got to take in consideration. Number one, since Roach came into Pacquiao's camp, he corrected his ability to fight backwards. He's given him a little more head movement moving forward. Pacquiao has not changed a lot moving forward. He's a very sloppy fighter who makes a lot of mistakes moving forward. The people that he dominated tried to walk him down and chase him around the ring. He was able to catch him with a big overhand right, the straight left with his feet planted. When he gets in fights where people give him lateral movement, they allow him to follow them, a la Timothy Bradley, a la Marquez. Even the last fight, he looked sloppy in exchanges. He looks extremely sloppy. Now, I told people, and I've been saying this ever since this fight, and I'm going to put my GYGB brothers on blast because a couple of months ago, I said this fight is going to happen. I said two things is going to happen, and I never wavered. I said this fight is going to happen, and let's keep it real. I was like, at one point, I was the only one saying this fight was going to happen. I was talking about the preliminary stuff that was being leaked to the press was nothing to cause a pre-hype to the fight and the announcement. Nobody believed me. I said this fight is going to happen, and the second thing, Floyd is going to dominate this little guy. And the reason because Manny Pacquiao is small. If you look at Floyd's record, you look at Floyd's history, outside of Guerrero, who was kind of, these guys, when you mention Madonna came in the ring like 170 pounds. These are bigger guys. When you see that bell ring and you see the size difference between Floyd and Pacquiao, you're going to understand what I'm talking about. And the same reason why he dominated Marquez said on HBO that Floyd's going to dominate him because his arms are too long and he's going to be bigger than him. So the fight's going to go like this. You're going to see the size differential in the beginning. Floyd is not going to walk this guy down because that's when Pacquiao is the most dangerous, when you disrespect him. He's going to be able to hit him with lead right hands from a safe distance. When they do clinch, Corey, which is a legal tactic in boxing, referee breaks it up.
Yo, don't call my name. I ain't allowed to call your name. Stop calling my name.
You call me Eric. Now, stronger than Manny, and you're going to see it. He's going to walk this boy to the ropes. He's going to walk him to the ropes. There's going to be an illegal chicken wing in his throat, followed by a right hand, then a left to his body. This is the activity that's going to sap Manny Pacquiao's strength. He's going to become more reckless as the fight goes on. I've been saying this round and this TKO for 5 years. It's going to be a 10th round TKO. First time, you're going to see Manny Pacquiao extremely exhausted and swinging for the fences. He's going to be swinging for the fences. He's going to become more and more careless, and it ain't about really Floyd having this super high activity rate. It's going to be an accurate rate. The lead right, the check hooks, the turning him is going to disrupt Manny's timing. Manny, you talk about his speed and you talk about his power, but he's not going to be able to get off because he doesn't move his head well, and he fights horrible moving forward. There's a 3-punch combination that ends with him on one foot. That's the reason why that punch Marquez hit him with, I was talking about that punch years before that. I said the man is on one foot when he throws that last straight left hand. And that's what Marquez caught him with.
Bradley caught him with the same punch too, lifting him off his feet. But
yeah, man, I mean, he makes major mistakes. I mean, you guys are telling me examples and the great things that Manny do. Then you're telling me about things that Floyd does against these bigger guys. I'm telling you, this guy is too little. He's going to maul him. He's too small, and that's going to be the biggest difference for the whole fight. Whatever intangible we come up with.
Please define maul. Please define maul. Don't throw maul him out there without defining it. Please define it.
Yeah,
I told you.
Corey.
He's going to do that by backing him in. The clinches is going to be key. When he pushes him into the ropes and he pins him in the ropes and hits him with straight right hands and then goes to the body. Everything that his father said, I said the day before. Them body shots with him on the ropes, that's when he's going to let shots go to the body, straight right hands. From a distance, all he's going to do is disrupt his timing with lead rights and hit him with check hooks when he charge in.
And there will be a ref that allow him to clinch, Corey, by the way, just in case you wonder about the clinches.
But when you throw body shots, you leave the face exposed, and plus he's shorter than him. They're throwing body shots to a shorter guy with your face exposed. Good luck with that.
He's going to be pinned.
If he does that, Floyd's getting knocked out.
That's actually a good point, Sleep. That's kind of a good point.
He's getting knocked out. If he does that, he's getting knocked out. Floyd Mayweather's getting. If he try to touch that body like that, he's getting knocked out. By your logic, he's smaller. He got to go lower. His face exposed. He going to get locked out.
This is after he's going to be pinned to the corner with an elbow.
I think one thing that I think Floyd for whatever it's worth, I think Floyd's going to be surprised how quick Pacquiao is though, because that's the constant going in with him. Everybody's just like he's just too fucking fast, and even for Floyd as defensive as he is, man, I don't think it's going to be an easy time for him to not necessarily evade Pacquiao, because Floyd, he'll square up. I mean, I think there's a misconception of the whole running with him. He'll square up, and he's done it against guys like, Mosley and other guys who you would think he would quote unquote, run away from. But the thing with Pacquiao though, it's he fight the way he's effective is almost in the fact that he's not conventional. He fights off rhythm, where it's Floyd is really used to fighting the conventional guys, and even past the southpaw situation. I mean, that is its own situation, but he's fought and beaten southpaw, so it's really nothing to, make an issue about. But it's just, I think a lot of it is just predicated on Manny's attack. And when you look at the fights with the Marquez and even the Eric Morales, they went through hell to beat him, man. And that's what a lot of people are kind of forgetting too. Is nobody's beaten Pacquiao, at least in the sense of when he became Manny Pacquiao. Nobody's beat him with necessary, ease. I mean, the Morales
talk
fight
about it, Roberto.
That's actually a good point. You make a good point.
Good point.
I don't think it's going to be an easy fight, man. And really, that's why I was saying, as far as the fight happening now, you got to give him full credit, because I got a feeling as far as how Pacquiao's going to show up, and and if Floyd can handle that, man, you got to give him both guys credit, regardless. But I just don't see this as an easy fight, man. Both ways.
Can I chime in here?
Good point, Roberto. Yeah, go ahead, South Cali. What's the weather out there, by the way, my man? Give us some sunshine, man.
Say it again. I didn't hear.
It's 68 degrees out in South California. We got a Floridian.
Florida.
We got
I thought you were talking to. I thought you were talking to. My bad.
Oh no, my man from South. He's from South California.
San Diego.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
If I ever move, that's where I want to go, man. The weather stay 75 all year long.
Yeah, it's pretty much 70, 69, 70 year round.
Yeah, there you go.
Shit, man.
So first of all, it's a pleasure to talk to discuss boxing with guys who know the sport so well.
Thanks, man. We appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you. I think this is the biggest fight in the welterweight division since Chavez Whitaker, easily, right? Easily.
Yep.
I think Mayweather is a very similar fighter to Whitaker. I don't think this fight's going to go that way, though. I think this fight's going to be more similar to Leonard Duran won Montreal.
Wow. See, Roberto said that, by the way. Yeah, he said that. Yep.
I think Duran's going to bring it. Pacquiao's going to bring it just like Duran. And I think you're going to see with Mayweather the same thing that happened to Leonard. I think his ego is going to I think he's going to brawl because of his ego. I think Pacquiao's going to bring it, and I think Mayweather will try to brawl in return. And I think that's going to be a mistake. I see the same outcome.
I don't think nobody believes that, but
yeah. Hey, listen. If you're right about that,
it's kind of like Chavez Taylor. Taylor brawled, and look what happened. Leonard brawled with Duran. Look what happened. I think you're going to see the same thing. Mayweather, he's got an ego. He's got pride, and I think he's going to brawl.
I mean, hey, that's your opinion, man. You know,
let me get in on this. I think with South Carolina.
Yeah.
I think with South Carolina. I think with
California. What's your name, man? What's your name?
Kevin.
Okay. Is you the guy that emailed me about the videos?
Yeah. Send you the video.
Okay. All right, man. Okay. All right. Thanks for coming on, man.
This is a point that I was going to touch on earlier, and then Kevin kind of touched on it. At the end of the day, most of the fighters that get in the ring with Floyd, one of the things, and this is something you actually train, you've talked about as well as Sleep, as a factor in all of these fighters, they can't handle the bright lights. This is the biggest platform they ever been on. Well, guess what? Manny thrives in the bright lights. This is what he knows. This is what he likes, the chaos, the lights. This is what he does, man. And
likes basketball.
At the end of
but that's a whole nother. We'll get into that in a little bit. That's a whole nother. He's
yeah, that was a good one. But at the end of the day, guess what? That's not going to be a factor in this fight. The bright lights, and I think it's going to be a factor.
No, that's a good point.
More so for Floyd. I think what Kevin is saying at the end of the day, Floyd is going to be under the pressure to perform a certain kind of way. Because I don't really think, like Big Mike said, I don't think he really wanted this fight. I think he had to take this fight considering business. And it's a whole other conversation that we can have.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he didn't really want this fight. He took this fight because of the business. And at the end of the day,
agree.
The whole world, this is a guy with a massive ego. And the whole world is going to be watching him. And it's possible, let's not rule it out, that he could fight out of character, which means he might want to go a little bit more on the broad side than what we used to seeing him do. Let's not rule that out.
Hey, I want to speak after Funk Master Flex is done speaking. Hello?
What just happened?
This is Doc. I want to speak after Funk Master Flex is done speaking.
That's ridiculous. So, Big Mike, listen. So you say you don't buy that ego theory with Floyd. You don't see that happening.
No,
your website is trash.
What, you mean him brawling? I don't.
I'm saying the ego thing in particular, where he's going to fight out of character, like Corey and Kevin stating.
Let me just say one thing. I'm sorry, Mike. Let me just say one thing. I'm sorry. I don't think his intent going into the fight is going to be to brawl, but I think he's going to have to brawl because Manny's going to bring the fight to him. That's all. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with that. One thing we never saw, Floyd, and this is why Floyd, I believe, he chooses his opponents carefully because he knows at the end. Now, look, come on. The people who gave him the hardest time, Zab, everybody knows Zab was done meat before he fought Floyd. And Zab does exactly the same thing every fight. He gives you good 3-4 rounds, and then he fades. I mean, we know that. I mean, Baltimore kicks Zab behind. I mean, come on. You know, so we know that. Hold on. And so let's go to Shane. Shane, same thing. Back in the day, Shane, yeah, maybe. But the Shane that got his behind kicked by so many people. I mean, Vernon Forrest, after Vernon Forrest, Shane was never the same. Shane was never the same boxer. His dad used to yell at him, just smash his self-esteem. And all you got to do is really go in and control Shane to the point where, you know, he starts losing it. You can see it in his face. And so what I'm saying is these guys are masters at matchups against what would be good for Floyd's type of temperament and his fighting style. And the brawl thing may not be too far going because what I see is he's getting in the ring with Pacquiao. Pacquiao's giving him angles and speed, and with Floyd's defense and, you know, and with Floyd's style, I'm not saying Pacquiao lands everything, but Pacquiao's going to throw 7 punches to Floyd's 1 or 2, and then 2 of those 7 are going to get through, and I think that's going to probably make him a little nervous on the card, and I think he might get. It's conceivable that he could brawl, but the fact of the matter is, I think Floyd, this is not what he's used to. This is the bright lights. I think he got a lot to prove. And at the same time, when nobody agrees with me on this point, Floyd is scared of this dude. Now, let me tell you something.
There go Big Mike. What the hell are you in there?
I agree with you there.
Let me finish my point. Floyd.
I agree with you there.
Floyd is terrified of Manny Pacquiao. And a lot of people don't realize that. And Floyd, you know what I'm telling you? Floyd has a lot of ego. He has a lot of money. But the truth of the matter, that's a scared little boy. And his dad scared him. And it's something about Pacquiao that scares the hell out of him. And we're not really considering that. So we never really seen Floyd fight from fear.
I think we've been a little.
I want to say something, man. I want to say something for a while.
That's a relevant intangible.
I just want to say something. I think we've been a little disrespectful because every single time this man has been so-called hurt, like in the Shane fight, the Zab fight, like he hit Shane in the same round and punked Shane for the rest of the fight. Floyd has a lot of G in him that a lot of people don't recognize. When he has been stunned or hurt, he turns the fight around. When Zab supposedly he hit the ground, he dominated the last 7-8 rounds.
But Sleep, I'm not talking about that. First of all, I'm not talking about how you act in the ring. I'm talking about he's scared going into the ring. And so when you were in the ring, he was never scared of Shane. He was calling him Jerry Curl. He totally disrespected Shane. He was never scared.
Mike, let me wait a second, Big Mike. Big Mike, go ahead, Doc.
You know what? I done sent y'all a video of not only Senior or Floyd. Senior talked about he was scared for his son's life fighting that boy.
That's when they were trying to.
Listen.
I mean, that's a well-documented video.
That was propaganda for the talk about
it. Because Big Mike just made a point that skewed into the mental aspect. We went beyond the physical attributes, the strategy, and all the intangibles, the physical intangibles both of these fighters have, and the great matchmaking that has transpired, over the course of their careers. Let's talk about the mental aspects as you put it out there. The one thing that really troubles me about Manny Pacquiao is he's acting like he's a crusader. He's acting like he's on a mission from God. So to me, he's very overconfident in this fight. He's acting like he has a mandate to punish Floyd for all of humanity's sins. And to me, that's going to get him killed. Because
you know what, Doc? I agree with you on that.
I don't like that at all.
You're right. And you know what? Robert Guerrero made the same mistake, and that's a dumb thing to do.
Who made that mistake?
Rob Guerrero. It's a dumb thing to do because you're a Christian and because you're a man of God. Is to say that Floyd is worse than you, or he acts of a certain way, so you automatically feel entitled from God to be able to defeat this dude. I don't know if that's Manny Pacquiao's mindset. I heard about the Twitter stuff that you were saying. I mean, I tried to do some research on that. I couldn't find anything. But hold on. My point is that you are correct, because if you come in there entitled by God, you're going to get knocked out, because God does not choose sides.
Let me ask y'all a question. When is Manny Pacquiao coming over to the States?
Yeah, all right. So let's talk about that. That's a good point, Sleep.
You know what? That's a good point to me.
All your points go out the window if he stays over in the Philippines. He doesn't train over there. He has a bunch of hammers around him, and he's playing basketball games.
Manny Pacquiao, I'm trying to explain this to y'all before. This is the part that really gets me excited about him. To the chagrin of Freddie Roach, Manny Pacquiao fights in Mosaic.
I've been waiting for this guy to show up.
That's what he does. Manny Pacquiao likes to be so focused on like 5 different things at once, and then he comes in and he beats the crap out of you. But
man.
You know what? When he fought Marquez, he gave it everything. He was in the ring. He was dedicated. Manny Pacquiao don't operate like that. He don't operate like that.
I honestly think he can
Manny Pacquiao
risk not training next to Ray, playing around over there.
Manny Pacquiao doesn't feel alive not unless he got 10 dudes around him.
This boy's going to get whipped. I've been saying this for 5 years, and these are all the reasons why. Y'all just justifying it.
No, but Floyd trains like that because he's scared. He's a scared little boy. That's why he trains like that. He's overcompensating.
With daddy issues.
He's overcompensating. He's overcompensating.
All right. Let's reel it back. So the whole training camp thing, right? So all jokes aside, so he is coming. he's going to get his full 8 weeks. He's coming in on Saturday. This team that he's playing on, so he only played for like 4 minutes, and he sits on the bench most of the time. I don't know what exactly does that mean, but he's going to get his complimentary 8 weeks of training.
He break a big toe, then it's a wrap. Everything is out the window.
But he's coming Saturday. The games is not that. It's not that serious. No, I agree that he does spread himself thin, but
you can break an ankle in roughhouse.
No, but one thing I said this earlier in the text, joking, but I'm dead serious about this. They were saying that Marvin Hagler overtrained for the Ray Leonard fight, so you do got to be careful, even though it is a big fight, and it goes for Floyd too. Overtraining, because that will come back to haunt you come fight night.
Right.
You know, so you do got to be careful with that, even though it's a big fight.
I remember Vivian Harris overtrained against Carlos Mauser. He got knocked out. You remember that?
Yeah.
I remember that, and he blamed Emmanuel Stewart and said he got to get a new team. Yeah, I remember that. So you do got to, like, kind of factor that in. Even though it's a big fight, it's still just a fight. Like, once that bell rings, it just becomes a regular fight at that night. So you do got to be careful with the overtraining. So, but let's bring it back. So we got Big Mike saying that Pacquiao is going to – you said he's going to knock Floyd out, right? Or
I said if Floyd tries to go to the body like a sleeper saying,
can we have
and try to attack the body,
definite
he's gonna leave his head.
No, I'm bringing it back full circle.
He's trying to have like a little curtail. Let's have a definite, you know.
I mean, we still got time. We only in March, so you don't really have to give a definitive.
I've been saying 10th round for 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, you know. I mean, there's a lot of people, and shout out to the people on the board, man. I appreciate everybody, you know, for holding us down. You know, I hope we entertained you guys tonight. You know, this isn't for show. We're not throwing flames. I can screenshot a lot of these text messages. These brothers really feel passionate about their predictions. You know, Sleep said it before Senior put it on FightHype.com that he was going to destroy Pacquiao, called him too small, and said it was going to pretty much be a walk in the park. It's going to be one of the most uneven fights in the history of you know.
I never
boxing.
said that.
I got it on video, Sleep. I'll be glad to forward it to you.
Uneven. I said one of the most uneven fights in the history of boxing.
Videos up. I got it on video. I'll send it to you. You said it's gonna be the most lopsided. He said you just what you said, quote, and I'm paraphrasing. You said everybody's gonna be all hype about this particular fight, and it's gonna be one of the most lopsided fights in the history of boxing. I got the video. I'll send you the link.
The tape, and it better be tape. I want tape.
But you know what? Just another intangible. Sleep picks Manny Pacquiao all the time. Every time we bet against Manny Pacquiao.
No, I chose Pacquiao over Cotto.
No, he chose Cotto.
Somebody edited that tape.
And you know what? If you listen to all of Sleep's tapes, because I did some research today, it's always the same thing. He's too big for Pacquiao. He says it all the time.
He did say that about Cotto. It's very similar. It's crazy though, because the Cotto, when you listen to the Cotto prediction, it sounds like the Mayweather prediction. It Sleep said all the same stuff. I was like, damn.
Pacquiao over Brandon Rio.
He says the same thing. I mean, even back to David Diaz. Diaz is going to kill this dude. Come on, man.
Say that with David Diaz.
He didn't pick him for that one. It was the main one. I picked Hatton to beat Pacquiao, but that's a whole other story. But listen, so for those who don't know, the reason why he's so pissed off at Pacquiao too is, you know, Hatton, he was training Hatton when he fought Pacquiao.
Right.
And he said a lot of these same, granted now Floyd is not Hatton, but, you know, remember Pat, you know, Senior was talking kind of greasy about Pacquiao then and how they was going to go to the body and walk him down, and we all know how that ended. But, you know, Floyd is a whole different but Floyd, you talking about Floyd, though. This is a whole different ball game. But I think a lot of y'all made, you know, good points. I think Roberto was on the money. My man Kev was on the money with a lot of stuff. I think a lot of people see it as a more of a closer fight, filling out fight. I think me and Doc are kind of on the same page where I'm all about Floyd getting his timing down for the first 3 rounds, and then I think he'll go to work.
Hold on, Train. 3 rounds.
Not 3. I said 3 to 4.
No,
3 to 4 rounds. Because
I've been wanting to address this. Y'all are saying that Floyd is going to get Pacquiao down in 3 rounds, man. Seriously. That's not going to happen.
It took Marquez less than that. What are you talking about?
We mean Marquez less than that.
Let's talk about Marquez.
No.
Marquez.
Let's get the facts straight. Marquez, hold up. Let's get this fact. Marquez won with a Hail Mary. He won with a Hail Mary.
We're not talking about that fight. We
talking prior to that. We talking about
he dropped Pacquiao early in those rounds with the steroids.
No, he was catching Marquez. I mean, he was
the
catching
overhead
Pacquiao.
right to knock Pacquiao across the ring.
Yeah, he's right.
Can I ask
and he
you
dropped Pacquiao.
Go ahead. Can I ask y'all? Let me ask the panel a question. Who did y'all have winning the fight prior to Pacquiao getting knocked out? Who was winning the fight?
Pacquiao was winning that fight. Pacquiao was winning that fight.
Thank you.
Right? Yeah, he was winning the fight.
Guess what? Let me add on to that. If he didn't get knocked out in that round, guess what? That next round, your boy Marquez was getting knocked out. He's already had a broken nose, man. Come on,
he was going down. He was down.
Out of there.
He threw a Hail Mary. That's the fact of the matter.
Hey, Corey.
Yeah, I'll get caught with that.
Fact of the matter. You never see Manny
Allen.
Why did he get caught? Yeah,
you guys are saying something that never been happened. You never see Manny Pacquiao getting trashed in the ring.
Why did Manny Pacquiao get knocked out in that fight?
Huh?
Why did Manny Pacquiao get knocked out in the Marquez?
Because Marquez was on some crazy rules.
He's not disciplined.
Marquez was
No, come on, Big Mike. Stick to the X's. No, come on, Big Mike. The strict. Let's just stick with the X's and O's. He walked into a punch, right?
He got a lucky punch.
But he still walked into it either way. Apparently, he seemed to walk into a lot.
Right.
Corey. Now keep it 100, Corey and Big Mike. Can we just be honest? He does walk into right hands. That's like his kryptonite.
Yeah. I always, that's my only thing that I'm concerned about is that I think that Floyd,
and let me ask you this, Corey.
But Floyd ain't knocking nobody out.
Remember, man. But listen, Floyd's hands aren't. The healthiest, first of all. And second of all, like, when you look at these shots that he hits these guys with, man, like, it's like they're stinging shots, but they're not shots that are really evading people away, man. And, the thing with that Marquez shot, man, like, that could have dropped a lot of people. I mean, that's perfect.
Yeah, that would have dropped anyone.
That would have dropped everyone.
Yeah, it was drew up perfectly. That was a perfectly landed punch. Like, you couldn't draw it up any better.
Perfect. And
I have a question. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Kev.
Go ahead. If Mayweather threw that punch and Pacquiao walked into that punch, would Pacquiao have gone down?
No.
If Mayweather threw that punch.
No. Mayweather ain't.
I don't think so either.
It depends.
I don't think so either.
No, Cotto landed a left counter on him, and Pacquiao walked right through that and came right back at him. And Cotto, obviously get hit. And he walked
one thing I did say, and I told this is where me and Sleep disagree a little bit. I said Marquez steps into his punches where Floyd doesn't. Like, all his punches are stepped into, meaning that he would give his body up when he throws a punch. So he's going to stay there for a little, maybe a split of a second longer than Floyd by stepping in and throwing all his might into a punch. Where Floyd
an offensive-minded counterpuncher, like that makes
right. He's a counterpuncher. So
Marquez said that Pacquiao hits way harder than Floyd.
Well,
I didn't say that. I agree with you on that.
Somebody else said it too. Somebody else said that Pacquiao hits way harder than Floyd.
I didn't disagree with that about Marquez committing with his punches. I said the TKO will happen because Pacquiao will be extremely reckless and he'll be there.
He comes out.
Y'all don't know. Sleep. You gotta tell them. You just kind of glossed over the whole TKO thing.
Yeah, I know. Like Floyd, he hasn't knocked out anybody since Hatton.
No, let Sleep explain this. He's going to tell y'all what's going to happen with this TKO.
Please.
He's not going to get counted out. He's getting up every time.
One of the main statistics, man, that like a lot of people ignore with the first Maidana Floyd fight is like just look at the punch output that Maidana got out and how much Floyd he was missing shots, man, and for a lot of the time, man, there were points where like he was countering Floyd with not consistently, but at a point where Floyd he just got on the ropes, did nothing, And when you look at how much activity he put through, and Manny, he's not throwing obviously 1,000 punches, per se, but if he's in that 700-800 range, he's going to make Floyd work, and that's where I think the fight could get interesting as far as, who's going to be the one to out-hustle the other. Because I think that might be the approach that, they're trying to get where he ain't landing. Pacquiao will throw 5-6 shots, not land all of them, but, you getting those 2 or 3 in. And Floyd kind of falls in love with, being very defensive. And he's not like Marquez.
That's what Teddy Atlas actually said that on Teddy Atlas said what you said on Friday about him not getting drunk off his defense. I think it was the word, how he poetically waxed it. But he kind of said what you said, that he just hopes that, and Buddy McGirt said the same thing, where he hopes Floyd doesn't fall into these lapses where, he's just kind of watching. Because Pacquiao, this type of fight here, if Floyd don't knock him out, he could potentially lose on a scorecard off activity. We've seen this happen in the history of boxing where one guy, a la Chavez and Whitaker, one guy is landing a more clean, accurate shots, and the other guy just throwing a bunch of punches. And even though Floyd may land the cleaner, crisper punches, Pacquiao being busier. Because I didn't, what y'all actually brought up, that's why I like these discussions, because it do bring you down to earth a little bit, because I never thought about that till y'all just brought it. I don't know who brought it up. He never was dominated in no fights, that being Pacquiao. All the fights he lost was questionable decisions in the knockout, basically, in knockouts. So that is interesting, to make you think about that. So just a little food for thought, but go ahead, carry on. Whoever was talking, go ahead.
Yeah, I think we should expound on the point that Manny hasn't been trashed in the ring at all. With he got a lucky knockout punch against Marquez, got a lucky knockout punch. But Bradley, obviously Manny, he was outclassing Bradley the first fight, I had Pacquiao with 8 rounds before, and Bradley,
I actually had it closer the second time I watched it, but Pacquiao still won the fight.
Pacquiao won the fight.
He won the fight clearly.
But we have never seen Pacquiao get trashed since, I think, the first Eric Morales fight. He wasn't really trashed. He lost that fight.
That was a body shot.
Huh?
He got caught with a body shot, but go ahead.
Yeah, he clearly lost that fight, but that was the last time somebody really dominated Manny Pacquiao. And for what I've seen from Maidana fight, from what I've seen from some of Floyd's last fight, and even how he fought Cotto, I just don't see Floyd trashing him, and I just don't see that, and I don't see Floyd knocking him out. So that's
not going to happen.
If you cross out knocking out, if you cross out not getting trashed, what are you left with Floyd versus Manny Pacquiao?
Exactly.
So that's why I'm saying the scales are Manny Pacquiao is not a Guerrero. He's not an Ortiz. He's not none of them guys. McDonough was throwing in the first fight. He was making Floyd uncomfortable. He one scored at 114, right?
That's what I'm talking about.
He was able to get that with just a whole bunch of wild, untamed shots.
Real wild, yeah.
And just being real disruptive. Contrast that with somebody who's got a who's got a laser beam left hand and who's so quick with it you don't even see it, and who just does not get trashed and who's active. The only way I see Manny getting trashed remotely, and I don't see it, if Freddie has him fighting so fearful and so timid that he tries to just do some crazy unorthodox, just try to counterpunch thing. That's the only way I see it. But Manny's not going to fight like that. And so if you take away Floyd's knockout power, which is non-existent, and if you take away the fact that he's not going to trash Manny, what do you have left? You have a defensive.
You got nothing left.
Well, wait. You got a defensive fighter who does not throw a whole lot of punches, but who is accurate every time he does. And then
okay, that was great saying. Yeah.
And then, but that's all you get. If the accuracy ain't gonna put him on his behind, then we got an issue. We got to fight.
But you can't overlook accuracy, Big Mike. Let me tell you about the only thing about accuracy, though, Big Mike. It does. It's not so much about power, but it is called respected power, where it'll make you think, become apprehensive about coming forward and being.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know what I mean? Like Roberto, so like you catch him with good counter shots, it won't slow a fighter down. Like I don't care how hard I punch a fighter. We saw it with guys like Paulie Malignaggi, Winky Wright. Those guys aren't big punchers, but you've seen them guys slow like train wrecks down with respected power by just timing guys coming in, and you getting punched in your eyes, and your vision get a little blurry, and you slow down a little bit. So I just think that the counter punch, you can't just dismiss Floyd. This is the best as far as counter punching go. Like nobody Manny has fought has the counter punching ability that Mayweather has.
No,
Marquez. Floyd, good as Marquez is, Floyd. Come on, man. His right hand.
Let me tell you something. Let's talk about the Marquez fight for a while. Marquez is, I would say, is 3 times more active than Floyd. And so Marquez,
he's definitely more active.
Hold on. Let me. The first 3 fights, Marquez was extremely successful against Mayweather. Against Manny Pacquiao with the counter, because Marquez he lets his hands go more. And so if you contrast that with Joshua Clottey was a very defensive fighter, and you see how he got up on, and you see how Manny Pacquiao was still able to land on that defense and just totally dominated when he was up against the ropes. When you put them two together, that Marquez counter with all of activity versus Floyd with not as much activity, and with that defensive fighter, he's got the key to beat this dude. That's what I've been trying to tell y'all for 6 years, and y'all want to see it, and y'all want to.
I'll make one prediction that Floyd's gonna be squared up in this fight. I have no doubt about it.
He's always squared up. Always squared up.
Well, go ahead.
He's never on a bicycle. He's always squared up.
No, yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's just like it's like he's not gonna be in a position to where like he's gonna be just circling around. I just think with Pacquiao, the only thing with him is like there's a misconception as far as his footwork and how quick his feet are. Like he has problems cutting the ring off, which I think like with Floyd in his history, when you look at guys like Cotto and other fights he's had trouble in, like when you cut the ring off on Floyd and you don't give him that center space, you got a shot, because you're making him work and you're making him in a sense like be defensive, but not necessarily sort of. I know you don't want to sit there in the pocket with him, he'll win that fight too. But I think with Pacquiao, I think one thing that's going to be interesting too is I don't think Pacquiao is going to be so much in front of Floyd like people think, man. Like I think he sometimes kind of sits there, and you see it with certain fight sports. He'll purposely just sit there and be like, all right, like just open yourself up. Now we'll know right away because Floyd's going to land on him, but a lot of the times, and me and you, Trey, talked about this. Like, if Pacquiao doesn't respect your shot, he's going to take risks, and that's what I think it's going to be.
That's one of the things I told Sleep. I said one of the things that's going to be interesting is the respectability factor when Mayweather's is clocking him with these punches. Is Pacquiao going to still, keep coming and not be apprehensive? If that happens, we got a world of then we got some problems.
We got
Yeah, we got some problems at that point because that's one of the things I do want to see, especially early on, because if Pacquiao doesn't respect your power, I
think that's what the fight
angles and all the go ahead, Kevin.
I think that's what the fight hinges on. Because, as Big Mike said, I think you can scratch off a Mayweather knockout. That's not going to happen. Someone else commented that, Mayweather's a great counterpuncher, which he is. I think the question is does he counterpunch hard enough to get Pacquiao's respect? Because if he doesn't, Pacquiao's going to walk right through it. He's going to be there all night. If he does get his respect, then Mayweather, I think, can win a decision. But I think that's the key. That's the key to the fight. Will Pacquiao respect Mayweather's counterpunching.
Guys, when I was speaking of him stopping him by TKO, it's a attrition.
This is pretty hilarious. Y'all want to listen to this one?
Yeah, I mean, because we're kind of reducing it now to analyzing Floyd's power. Of course, we know Floyd. Well, I think Floyd can hurt Pacquiao, but he doesn't hurt anybody because he has brittle hands. I think when I talk about him being there and available to get hit with a check hook and get hit with shots that are wide open late in the fight, it's because throughout the fight, Floyd is going to lean on him. He's going to push him around, just like he pushed around Shane Mosley, who we thought was a stronger guy. Pacquiao is a lot smaller than him. He's going to push and lean on him, and he's going to go to his body. You got to understand, nobody really worked Pacquiao's body like that. He's going to go to his body.
Eric Morales was the last guy to do it.
And it's going to sap his energy. So when I talk about him stopping him with a technical knockout, it's not all of a sudden Floyd Mayweather is Mike Tyson, or now all of a sudden you're seeing Pacquiao getting dominated because somebody is faster than him. I think Floyd has great reflexes, and that's his biggest strength, the length of his arms and his reflexes. It's the shots off the reflexes, but it's also the clinching. Clinching is going to be the first thing you're going to notice in this fight about how superior Floyd is strength-wise dealing with Pacquiao. That's the first thing you're going to notice, him pushing him around, leaning on him, and basically what we say in Philly, we say Brody, that's taking advantage of somebody. He's going to be taking advantage of him in the corner. So I'm not sitting here saying that like Floyd's going to be hitting him with these monstrous shots rocking Pacquiao. It's going to be a war of attrition, and I think Pacquiao is going to be gassed. He's going to be desperate, and he's going to be like he does it anyway. But I think in this circumstance, because so much is going to be on the line, he's going to be risking more. And that's why I say that's going to happen in the 10th. He's going to be risking everything.
What are they expected to weigh in at?
Pacquiao's going to come in lighter.
About what, 144, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, because they're already kind of hovering around that weight anyway. Because he just fought. Remember, Pacquiao just fought in November.
The night of the fight, though, they're only going to be about like a pound or two apart.
Yeah, they're not going to. These are going to be little.
Yeah,
this is going to be a weird.
I don't think the size differential is going to come into play that much. They're pretty comparable in size.
I think what Steve is saying is Kevin, is that Floyd is kind of a naturally bigger guy.
He's got a longer reach.
Longer reach. Like with Pacquiao, I don't know if you noticed, but they've been kind of going south more than north since Pacquiao, as of lately. He just fought out. What weight did they fight at, Roberto, when he fought out Jerry?
It was a catch weight. It was a catch weight,
but they had right. So he's really Pacquiao's really a junior welterweight, really. I mean that's really what he is. Where Floyd, you look at pictures from when he first moved up to welterweight to now, it's like night and day. Like he looks totally different. He looks like a welterweight. Like he looks like the welterweight. Right, he looks like the guys that we kind of grew up watching, So he has that frame, and he's like Sleep said, he is the naturally bigger, stronger guy.
Never forget when he fought Marquez.
Yeah, you saw the difference, the size disparity there.
Huge compared to him, and you're going to see something similar. So Pacquiao's taller than Marquez, but
stop that, because at the end of the day, Floyd didn't make weight. He came in with 3 pounds over on the weight. Man. Stop that. And this is the first time this guy came up. Marquez was the first. This is the first time he came up. So we can't use that as a comparison, man.
No, but and they're two different style fighters. Marquez is more of a counter puncher. It's like Marquez fighting himself almost, and Marquez gave him too much respect.
And Marquez is even smaller than Pacquiao, but. The bottom line here is that Floyd is bigger than Pacquiao. I mean, that I don't think anybody would deny that. He's bigger.
Bigger is not an issue here.
But no, I'm not saying it. I'm just saying what Sleep
is he stronger?
Floyd is definitely, I think, stronger. If they clinched, I think Floyd would get the better of the clinch. Pacquiao doesn't clinch though. He's not a clincher. He punches his way out of trouble. I can't even recall him clinching in fight.
Yeah, you got to really understand. Pacquiao does not clinch. He punches his way out of trouble. And
he's not a good inside fighter either.
He starts slapping them gloves.
So he's not a good he's not a good inside fighter, and I think what Sleep's saying is, I mean, Sleep's bringing up valid points, like on the break, you know, especially Floyd punching off the break, and those, you know, the short distance.
But punching off the break, how do you clinch Pacquiao? No, why any Pacquiao? Nobody clinches that.
It is a dangerous task because the reach out and hold him, you know, he throws one of those unorthodox left hands. You know, you got to be careful.
And then he's always moving. You see how somebody, who was that tape when they say all he does is hit the right and then he flips? Senior said that. That's all he does. He does the right and then he flips. It was funny how they were clowning Pacquiao about that, but that's the shot that put Ricky Hatton to sleep. Yeah, he hit him with that right and then he
and
flipped.
Algieri, that was going for a while. He brought it back.
Yeah.
He stopped doing that for a while. But then in the Algieri fight, see, that's the little stuff that worries. Like that little thing he did against Algieri where that he just brought the left out of his socks. That's the little stuff that, you know, that's why I think Floyd is going to fight. Floyd, let me tell you something. Floyd may get on Twitter and Senior, it's a great story, it's a cool story and all, them trashing Pacquiao, but those guys aren't dumb guys. They understand and they know that Pacquiao is a dangerous mofo. Trust me.
Yeah,
and they know one of them left hands come flying out of nowhere.
For the last 7 years.
And they're going to fight. Listen, Floyd, much as we're saying that Pacquiao has to fight a mistake-free fight, the same applies to Floyd. Floyd can't have, you know, he can't really have no mistakes in this fight like what happened in that Madonna fight. Like what happened at the end of that third round, that can't happen in this fight. Because this is a whole different animal. This is a guy that loves throwing a lot of punches. You know, so you definitely got to be careful with certain things.
I wanted to share something that Floyd Sr. said. You guys might have heard it. But he said, I think Floyd's going to dominate this fight. I don't think, he said, maybe Floyd doesn't think so, but I think he will. Did you guys hear that?
Yeah, he did say that. He said that. No,
what I told you like months ago, man. Like for a while, man. For a while, his pops is always throwing these. Maybe like he doesn't understand what he's saying, but like he's always said like
he was being honest.
His pops has always been honest. His pops has always been honest.
And I think he's trying to hype Floyd up. Like a lot of the stuff that he's doing is more talking to Floyd than he is to us.
Floyd,
you know,
the deal.
Because I never seen him go over the top like this, talking about a fighter. You know how they going to dominate a fighter.
Well, no,
and
he
Floyd
did that against Ricky Hatton. He told Ricky Hatton was going to destroy Pacquiao. Remember that? He did the same thing.
But I'm saying for Floyd, for Floyd. I mean, my opinion don't change either way because I always thought Floyd could beat Pacquiao, but my question was, does Floyd think he could beat Pacquiao? You know, that's the most important person that needs to know that they can beat him. But that diminishing his character, and that's great for, like, overzealous fans and stuff, but at the end of the day, they're training like this dude is serious. Like, he's a serious threat. And, you know, they know that some stuff can't happen that happened before. You know, they can act like it's no big deal, but, you know, trust me, they're taking this very seriously, and as they should. Every person that gets to this level, you have to take every opponent serious. So, you know, but we can ready to wrap up, man. You know, it's been almost 2 hours. I want to thank everybody that came on the panel tonight. My man Kevin from San Diego joined us unexpectedly, and I appreciate him coming on. You know, Roberto, holding it down, man. I appreciate it, dude. You know, it's mad love. Docs, Big Mike, Sleep. Even though Rada didn't come on, you know, that's still our brother in spirit. Maybe he'll make it on one of these weeks. I would love for him to come on, you know, because he's very passionate on his views as well. But, you know, most importantly, man, I just want to thank everybody out there that tune in to our podcast. And, you know, that's just been holding Guard Your Girl down, man. We've been in existence for, this will be our 8th calendar year. This is our 8th calendar year. And, you know, we haven't been consistent as we would like to be, but, you know, you guys never went anywhere, and, you know, we appreciate that, man. You know, so we'll be back next Monday. We'll be talking about other boxing, obviously, but, you know, this is going to constantly be the elephant in the room. You know, we can't just ignore it. But we do got to do a panel on Al Heyman. You know, that's been a big discussion as well. You know, we got different views. We say March 7th?
That's coming, yeah. It's reaching soon.
Right, yeah. We got some March date. You're right. We got some big dates. Philly's own Steve Cunningham is fighting in a couple weeks. Maybe we can get him to come on. I mean, I know it shouldn't be a problem. I'm going to holler at Steve and get him to come on to talk about his fight. And, we'll be back, man. Thanks, y'all, man. I appreciate it. Roger Grow Box.
All right, thank you.
Peace.